Hello and welcome to our presentation on online education. My name is Megan and I will be your narrator for today, and my partner's name is Adam. So to start, online education is such a huge topic and there's just so much to talk about. So we decided to break it down into 5 guiding questions. What does K-12 online education entail? How does K-12 online education benefit students? What are the disadvantages of K-12 online education? How does K-12 online education aid students with neurodiverse needs? Are students able to still attain academic achievement? So before we get into all of that, let's take out a piece of paper, sticky note, or maybe even your phone and answer these 5 questions. If you need a little extra time, please feel free to pause the video so that you can get all the questions done without stressing out about them. But for now, I will read through the questions. Does online education mean being on the computer all the time? Name 3 benefits to online learning. Name 1 disadvantage to online learning. What % of teachers agreed that online education is easier for students with auditory limitations? And number 5, blank is important for teachers to do to support students who are learning online. So just a reminder, please feel free to pause the video if you need to answer these questions with a little bit more time. So what does K-12 online education entail? So this is actually where I was super surprised, because to me, I thought online education was, well, just online. But that's not actually the case. There's a lot more to online education than just being online. There's these online lessons, there's interactive activities, there's virtual classrooms, there's all kinds of different ways for students to be able to learn online. However, there's also activities outside of the computer. There's materials that they can work with, there's textbooks, there's workbooks. I've actually seen some videos with students playing with microscopes and telescopes and all kinds of other things that they can do that doesn't involve the computer. There's also a lot of interactions between teachers and classmates, whether it's online or on the phone. There's also a lot of support systems for these students, especially learning coaches, to make sure that they keep on with their progress throughout the day. And also, there's lots of activities that are planned for the students, and also a lot of support from the parents. Now moving on to how does K-12 online education benefit students? So there's a cool little video that I found that really goes into more detail about the benefits for these students who are using online education. But there's 4 big things that they talk about, which is flexibility, control over their learning, independent learning, and accountability.
Today's online learning environment provides exciting new ways to share and receive information. It's mobility, plus flexibility, plus global reach. It brings learning to you, offering online courses when and where you need them, making learning easier, more fun, and more accessible anytime, anywhere. Take your course with you, on the road, to the office, or to your favorite coffee shop, or anywhere you need to find the learning environment that works best for you. Online learning also provides the opportunity to learn when and where you need to with colleagues from across the globe in a collaborative learning space. With more choices, flexible timing, and the collapse of distance, you can get the learning you need when you need it with colleagues from across the globe. In a face-to-face classroom, teaching is usually one-to-many, with learners tracking at different speeds. One participant may already know what is being covered, while one is lost and needs more support. In the online classroom, learners work at their own pace, spending time where they need it most. The model of the traditional teacher in front of the room delivering information no longer applies online. Now more voices are heard, no one can hide, and facilitators have the time and tools to mentor students one-on-one. Online learning gives participants more choices to direct their development and new ways of engaging with each other using real-time virtual group sessions, asynchronous online discussions, and mentored reflection. Have you ever gotten excited about what you've learned from colleagues in a workshop?
All right, so that was our video that we had found about online learning. While this video focuses more on colleges, it actually has a lot in common to a lot of the online education programs that me and Adam looked into. There's a lot of flexibility, so you get to pick your courses, you get to meet a lot of people, whether it's during early morning or late afternoon. You get to meet all kinds of different people within your program and within the chat rooms and within the discussions. There's a lot of control of your learning. There's a lot of independent learning as well, so that you can stay on task and be able to learn what you need to learn, whether it's at a slower pace than some other students, and also builds accountability for the students to make sure that they get their work done before it ends up building up and where it ends up falling behind, which is also a reason why having a lot of those support systems is very important for these online programs. What are the disadvantages of K-12 online education? Well, sadly, with everything online, there can be cyberbullying. So with that, it becomes a little bit more difficult, since even outside of school, it's kind of hard to find, traces of the cyber bullies. However, with online schools, there's a lot of people who are working behind the scenes to, track it down and keep it under wraps and make sure students are behaving the way they should be. However, there are cases where cyberbullying does happen. There's also cases where students don't understand the technology. Online programs are still, advancing and learning and improving. So having students who don't understand how to use a lot of the programs is possible, and then that turns into teachers having to spend a little bit more time teaching them how to use the technology instead of actually giving them the content. How does K-12 online education aid students with neurodiverse needs? Well, 83% of teachers agreed that online education made it easier for students with auditory limitations. And on top of that, 92% of teachers agreed that online education made it easier for students with physical limitations. This can benefit them extremely well, knowing that teachers agree that online education is actually making it better for students. It also allows students who have visual limitations to also have some benefits as well. Are students able to still attain academic achievement? Well, this is, to me, a huge question, because I originally thought, no, of course not, because it's online. They're not getting that in-human interaction that they need to be able to learn. However, that's not the case. 72% of teachers agreed that there's improvement in student academic performance. And on top of that, 86% of teachers agreed to seeing positive results due to the learning environments. And this can really go to the teachers and the online learning and the support systems and everything that students have on online programs, to be able to feel that support and be able to feel that they have someone to go to talk about their academic and their goals and their needs and everything that they need to be able to improve on themselves. And teachers they need a round of applause for this program, because they need to do a lot of scaffolding. They're doing a lot of building and connections and understanding their students and being the support that the students need on these programs. Since it is online, there isn't that face-to-face and that human-to-human interaction. They need to make that online and be able to give the students what they need to be able to feel supported and to feel like their academic needs are being heard and their goals are being heard. And also to make sure that their learning environment shows that they are there for them. So let's go all the way back to the beginning of the presentation with their anticipation guide. So remember those 5 questions that I had you answer in the beginning? Well, here's the time to either change your answer or to commit to your answer. If you feel like changing your answer, this is a great time to pause the video and to either go back and re-find an answer or just to listen to what you think the answers might be. So number 1, does online education mean being on the computer all the time? No. There's outside activities, there's workbooks, there's textbooks, there's worksheets, there's all kinds of stuff that does not involve being on the computer. Name 3 benefits to online learning. Well, we listed a bunch within this presentation. However, the 3 that I'm picking for this particular part would be flexibility, control over time, and accountability. Name 1 disadvantage to online learning. I put cyberbullying. This, to me, as someone who has younger siblings who are online all the time, makes me really worry about having online cyberbullying when it comes to their education. So to me, this is a big disadvantage to online learning. However, with having all of those support systems and be able to have so many people behind the scenes working with the students, one can hardly say it's a very big disadvantage. But number 4, what percent of teachers agreed that online education is easier for students with auditory limitations? And that was 83%. And last but not least, number 5, blank is important for teachers to do to support students who are learning online. And while this can be a number of things, especially for online teachers who are learning and teaching online, being able to scaffold and build connections with the students is extremely important for these type of teachers, because without that connection, a student can feel very lost within these programs, since they are not getting that face-to-face, person-to-person interaction. And thank you for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy learning about online education, and I hope we also change some of your opinions on online education for the better. Thank you.